What learning disability do you have?
I am a diagnosed dyslexic in the range from severe to moderate.
How does this disability affect someone?
It mostly affects with reading and writing comprehension, language skills, and there's a mild bit of ADD in there.
When were you diagnosed and what have you learned about yourself?
I was diagnosed in the third grade, and kind of ever since then, I've had to work harder than other people, and I feel that the struggle has really defined me as a person.
The issue with learning disabilities today is that people are uninformed. They don't know how to recognize the signs, and that means people aren't getting diagnosed early, which hurts them even more.
What disability do you have?
I was born with Klippel-Feil syndrome.
How does this affect you?
It affects the bone growth in certain parts of my body. For my neck, I have two fused vertebrae and then two that are very fragile. Also, it affects the bone growth in my ears, which has negatively affected my hearing, which has led to me becoming hard of hearing.
When were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at birth for Klippel-Feil syndrome because of my neck, but I wasn't diagnosed with hard of hearing until I was at the age of 3, when I haven't started to start talking, and my parents were concerned, so they had me checked out, and they realized that I was actually hard of hearing, which has affected my education negatively because I didn't have a good start in school, learning English, grammar, all of that.
According to the LDA, the Learning Disabilities Association of America, 1 in 7, or 15% of the U.S. population, has a learning disability.
What different learning disabilities do you encounter?
We have many different learning disabilities, starting with learning disabilities that come with the academic area, where there is deficit in comprehension or decoding or just learn different learning style. There are also where we have disabilities in paying attention, students that have difficulty focusing or paying attention. And sometimes we also have other disabilities like autism, Asperger, where the students have communication or social skills disabilities.
How do you help these kids throughout the day?
Well, well, generally that's what we do. Here is our main goal is to basically make sure students are following their IEPs, and teachers are following their IEPs, making sure they're staying up with their accommodations. So accommodations can range from a wide variety of things. It could go as far as there's something called mod testing, where a student may get less answers than others. There's extended time, so there's extended time over days. So it just depends on the particular student that you're dealing with.
Do you work with the guidance counselors to help these children?
Yes, we do work a lot with the guidance counselor because sometimes we have to look at the schedules, what would be the best schedule for them. Sometimes also we are more of an expert in the academics, but they are also experts into the mental health piece, and sometimes we all have anxieties or we have issues that happen at home or in school and we need to work, and that is where we come together with the guidance counselors and we discuss that, so we can bring the two components of a person and bring it together, analyze it, and problem solve.
What would you say is the toughest part of school for these kids?
Maintaining focus, and sometimes also the social anxiety. I think those are the two things that are very difficult, and that is something that we are looking into, and we hope we can help with that.
Do you think these kids feel alienated?
Well, I'll answer that honestly. When they're in ninth grade, by and large, and this is just a general response, but by and large in ninth grade, many of the students are embarrassed. Um, but by 10th grade, we have students who are their friends coming and saying, how do I get into resource? How do I do this? So I think the embarrassment is suddenly replaced, which is nice, by more of a self-advocacy, because the students begin to recognize that they're very bright and that it has absolutely no negative stigma whatsoever. And I see everybody become more their self-advocate by 10th grade.
How do a majority of these kids get diagnosed?
The majority get diagnosed by way of testing, and it's when the testing is done that is significant. We like it to have been done in elementary school so that interventions are in place, but it is professional testing that's done. The Montgomery County has their own people who initiate testing and who implement it and do a terrific job. So that's how it's done.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
When life hands you melons, you might be dyslexic.